before the noise of the day finds you. There's a quiet witness waiting, a pane of glass, a breath, a presence that doesn't argue and doesn't flatter. Look, not at the surface but through it. Notice how the gaze you give is the gaze that returns. Ask yourself softly, if I am seen by what I see, what am I sending right now? This isn't just a face in front of you. It's a readout, a frequency display for a signal you've been broadcasting without realizing. Every delay, every repeating ache that changes outfits but not outcomes. They're not random. They're reflections. You tried to outwork it, outrun it, outthink it. But the glass doesn't bend to force. It bends to tone. It doesn't punish, it reveals. So here's the truth. You've been circling, you're not stuck. You're transmitting. You're not broken. You're a little out of tune, and the moment you shift the note, the room answers. Not because the world moves first, but because your signal does. Say it under your breath, like a key turning. I'm not a victim. I'm the broadcast. Not passive, not waiting. Choosing, emitting, aligning. This isn't about pretending you feel blue skies when a storm is overhead. It's about the quality of presence you bring to the weather. The mirror isn't grading you. It's calibrating with you. Feel how your shoulders speak without words, how your breath tells a story. Your mind forgot it was telling. These are coordinates. This is the map. The image won't change because you lecture it. It shifts when you retune the source. Ask a better question than, why is this happening to me? Ask, what am I broadcasting right now? And if the answer stings, good, that sting is precision. It's the doorway you keep walking past because it was labeled familiar. Today, begin with something simple, honest, unforced. Stand here and meet your eyes. Whisper, I see you. I honor you. Not as a performance, as alignment. Let the words land in the body, not just the head. Feel the breath deepen on its own. This is you changing the note, not with volume, but with truth. Watch as the gaze steadies and the chest loosens by a degree you can measure. Tiny, yes, but tiny is how tuning begins. The mirror is listening. It always has. Patterns aren't personal. They're precise. The same scene keeps returning with different names and costumes because it's a measurement, not a punishment. Life isn't mocking you. It's mirroring you. The mirror doesn't lie or flatter, it reflects. When the loop repeats, it isn't coincidence, it's calibration. Every situation, every person, every delay is accurate feedback, mapping the signal you're sending without realizing. Ask the question that actually opens the door. What is this showing me about how I'm seeing myself? Reality doesn't punish, it reveals. It isn't here to validate your fears. It's here to expose what you're broadcasting. That's why the same ache keeps circling back, because the note hasn't changed yet. And when you ask, why do I attract this? The answer is already in the glass. You're being shown the frequency you've accepted as normal, not as an insult, but as information. The pattern is the message. This is where blame ends and awareness begins. Pause, breathe. Notice the space between what happened and what you're about to do next. In that space, your power lives. When you observe without judgment, the grip loosens. A fraction of stillness appears. You can hear the signal underneath the story. You can feel the moment you usually react from habit. And in that tiny pocket of clarity, you get to choose again. Ask better questions in that stillness. Which belief is speaking through my body right now? Which old story am I stepping back into without noticing? What am I broadcasting at this exact moment? When you start listening at that level, the loop stops feeling like fate and starts feeling like data. You're not being attacked by randomness. You're receiving precision. And precision is a gift, because once you can read it, you can retune it. You're not late, you're learning to see. You're not powerless, you're practicing presence. The mirror is not an enemy to conquer, but an instrument to tune with. Keep your gaze soft and your awareness sharp. Let the feedback tell you the note you've been playing. Then, instead of begging the reflection to change, adjust the source of the sound. Own this. You are the signal. Not a spectator waiting for proof, not a passenger asking permission. The mirror isn't moved by arguments, it's moved by tone. It doesn't respond to logic, it responds to energy. Attention, belief, self-regard. When your presence shifts, your reflection follows. Not because the world changes first, but because you do. Say it cleanly. I am not a victim. I am the signal. This isn't about forcing a smile over a storm. It's about the quality of presence you bring to the weather. Reality isn't punishing you. It's revealing what you're broadcasting. Change the note, and the room will answer. Not with force, but with frequency. Here is the deeper layer. Identity lives in the body. These aren't just thoughts you think. They're patterns you become. Beliefs are etched into muscle, rhythm, and breath. The way your shoulders set, the way your eyes scan a room, the way you brace or soften. This is the silent language that moves ahead of your words. You're not broken. You're encoded. And codes can be rewritten. Rewriting doesn't happen in theory. It happens in repetition. The nervous system learns what you rehearse. Walk, speak, breathe, and respond from the version of you you're choosing now, not the one you've repeated. When you behave from a new identity, you lay down new patterns. You stop reenacting the past and start rehearsing the future. So, speak to the mirror with clarity and ownership. You don't need to beg for better. You broadcast it. You don't need to prove your worth. You embody it. Whisper it as a contract with yourself. I see you. I honor you. Let it land in the chest, not just the mind. Feel the breath extend by a quiet degree. That's tuning. That's alignment. This is not imagination. This is embodiment. Hold here for a moment of honesty. If the image still feels distorted, don't demand the glass to shift. Adjust the source. Ask, what am I broadcasting right now? If the answer stings, that sting is precision. Let it guide the retune. Small, consistent, present. Change the signal. Then watch the reflection learn your new language. And understand this. The moment you choose a new tone, life will listen. And life will test. Old buttons will be pressed. Familiar scenes will knock. The question is not whether they appear, but whether you can hold the frequency you've chosen when they do. When you choose a new tone, life listens, and then it tests. The same buttons get pressed. The same scenes circle back. This isn't a punishment, it's precision. The mirror is asking a single question in 100 different ways. Can you hold the frequency you chose when the familiar knock returns? The feeling that surges, anger, hurt, anxiety, isn't your enemy. It's a message. A signal from within pointing to where your signal still fractures. Pause, breathe. Notice the instant between the event and your reaction. That small space is not empty. It's authority. If you rush past it, habit takes. If you stay inside it, even for one breath longer than usual, the grip loosens. Sensation peaks and softens. The narrative gets quieter. In that quieter room, ask the only questions that matter. What is this showing me about how I'm seeing myself? Which old story am I stepping back into without noticing? What am I? Broad patterns aren't personal. They're precise. The scene in front of you is mirroring what you've accepted inside, not to shame you, but to show you. When you meet the surge with judgment, the loop tightens. When you meet it with observation, the loop reveals its hinge. Observation isn't passive. It's power without force. You are not ignoring what you feel. You are watching it on purpose. You are letting the body finish a sentence it has been repeating for years. This is where compassion enters, not as a slogan, but as a tone of attention. Compassion doesn't excuse what hurt you. It includes the parts of you that were left out when it happened. The tight chest, the shallow breath, the bracing shoulders. These are not disobedient. They are devoted. They've been trying to keep you safe using old instructions. When you meet them with warmth instead of war, something shifts. The energy softens, the fragment returns. You reclaim what was never truly gone, only guarded. You don't have to eliminate the trigger. You have to learn from it. Let it point you to the room inside that still thinks it isn't welcome. Sit with that room for a breath longer. Offer it presence instead of pressure. Say without performance, I see you. I honor you. Not to pretend you're fine, but to anchor the frequency of acceptance. The reflection cannot keep broadcasting shame when the source is practicing understanding. The mirror changes because the tone at the origin changes. Understand this clearly. Choosing not to react is not weakness. It's retuning. You are training the nervous system to recognize a new answer. First it feels awkward, then it becomes possible, then it turns familiar. Repetition makes the new tone legible, and the moment the tone stabilizes, the scenes that once hooked you start losing their teeth. The pattern isn't gone. It's decoded. The message has been received. So when the knock comes, and it will, return to the practice. Pause, breathe. Observe without judgment. Ask better questions. Offer compassion to the tight places. Choose again. Not as a performance for the world, but as a promise to your own frequency. This is alignment in motion. This is how the mirror learns your new language. Hold this posture a little longer each time. Let your presence be the loudest thing in the room. The outside will catch up because it must. The mirror is faithful. When the source steadies, the image follows. From here, we move into the quiet alchemy that makes this steadiness sustainable, the daily ritual that turns a choice into a baseline. Consistency retunes what intensity can't. Begin in the morning before the world gets loud. Stand at the mirror, meet your own eyes, and say softly, I choose to see myself with love. Don't perform it, embody it. Let the words drop from the mind into the chest. Notice the breath deepen on its own. The shoulders ease by a small, honest degree. That's not pretend. That's alignment. You're setting the note the day will mirror. Carry a single question through the hours. What am I broadcasting right now? Ask it in the doorway before you speak, on the sidewalk before you react, in the pause before you hit send. Let the body answer first. The pace of your breathing, the way your gaze meets or avoids, the posture that opens or braces. These are coordinates, Adjust the tone, not through force, but through presence. You don't need to conquer every outcome. You need to change the lens you're looking through. Reality is not the starting point. At night, return to the glass or to a quiet page and ask, what did 3 things today reflect back about me? This is not a trial. It's a translation. You're learning the language of your own signal. Maybe a conversation mirrored patience you didn't know you had. Maybe a delay mirrored an old doubt still living in the breath. Record it without judgment. Let precision be kindness. When you read the feedback as information instead of indictment, the loop loosens, and the note becomes clearer. Ritual is rehearsal, and rehearsal is how the nervous system learns. Walk, speak, breathe, and respond from the identity you are choosing now. First, it feels unfamiliar. Then it becomes possible. Then it turns natural. You stop reacting from the past and start rehearsing the future. You stop chasing validation and start embodying value. You stop answering chaos and start anchoring calm. The mirror isn't grading you. It's learning your new language with you. Small, intentional, repeated. That's how the baseline shifts. Understand this, life won't pause while you tune. Triggers will still knock. Old scenes will still test. Meet them with the same ritual attention. Pause, breathe, observe, adjust. Offer compassion to the tight places. Choose again, not louder, steadier, not with force, with frequency. Over time, the reflection has no choice. It follows the source. Coherence is what happens when your words, breath, and posture tell the same truth. Hold that truth and let the echo do what echoes do. Change doesn't stop at your skin. Consciousness isn't isolated. It's a field. Every act of compassion you embody, every moment of acceptance you practice, every breath of steadiness you hold becomes part of the wave. You don't have to convince anyone. You don't have to fix anyone. You become a living signal, and signals travel. Your healing leaves a trace. Your self-love creates space. When you soften where you once hardened, you show another nervous system what's possible. When you choose presence where you once braced, you invite a room to meet you there. Not because you asked, but because frequency communicates without words. The mirror you've recalibrated begins to influence the larger one. Doors open that used to stay closed. Conversations shift tone without a script. Patterns lose their teeth because the signal they fed on is no longer on the menu. This isn't spectacle, it's resonance. Not with struggle, but with remembrance. You are remembering the worth that doesn't need proof. The love that isn't earned by perfection. The calm that doesn't require control. Say it cleanly. For yourself and for the field you touch. I am not broken. I am becoming. I am not a victim. I am the signal. What I focus on strengthens. What I embody radiates. What I observe with presence transforms. So meet the mirror each morning with love. Meet the day with the question that centers you. And meet the night with reflection that teaches you. Let the pattern be the message and compassion be the method. Reality will do what reality does. Reflect with precision, and you will do what you now know how to do. Retune with intention. One breath at a time, one choice at a time, until steadiness is your native frequency. You don't need to change the entire world. You need to keep becoming the tone you want the world to echo. The field will answer, because it always does. Not because you forced it, but because you finally aligned it. This is how change begins. Quiet, deliberate, present. This is how it spreads wave by wave, mirror by mirror, heart by heart. Before you go, do it now. Stand, breathe. Meet your eyes and whisper, I see you. I honor you. If this resonated, anchor it. Type, I am the signal, in the comments to lock the identity. Save this so you can replay it tomorrow morning as your mirror ritual and share it with the one person who needs a gentler frequency today. If you're ready to keep tuning with me, subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next session builds this practice deeper, not with force, but with frequency. One breath, one choice, one steady signal.